There are moments when heaven does not speak to the crowd but to the remnant. To those who stand apart, who walk a narrow path, who feel like strangers even in their own house. This message is for you. If you are hearing this right now, it is not by accident. It is not coincidence that your heart has been stirred, your ears have been opened, and your soul is leaning forward. You were chosen to hear this word, though many around you may never understand it. God is speaking to the few who are willing to listen when the world is loud, to the few who are willing to choose faith when doubt is fashionable, to the few who will walk into the fire without fear, knowing the one who walks beside them. This message is for you. It is rare, it is weighty, and it is calling you deeper. Tell me in the comments if you feel that this message has found you at just the right time. Do you feel like you are one of the few? Do you feel that God has been whispering to you, even when the world has tried to drown it out? Your testimony matters. Share it because your words may confirm someone else's calling. Beloved, God says not everyone will understand the weight you carry. Not everyone will celebrate the road you walk. Many will question your choices. Many will mock your faith. Many will call you foolish. But God is saying, do not be surprised, for I never sent you to be like the many. I set you apart for myself. If you have ever felt the ache of being misunderstood, if you have ever sat alone while others laugh together, if you have ever been excluded because of your convictions, then know this. Heaven sees you. Heaven knows your sacrifice. Heaven is writing your name in places that no man can erase. Comment below if this resonates with your spirit. Have you felt that separation, that divine isolation, that strange but holy loneliness? Share your heart, because someone else who feels the same way may read your words and know they are not alone. The Father says, I do not measure by numbers. I do not measure by the applause of crowds. I measure by obedience, by purity of heart, by the willingness to walk with me when it costs everything. That is why this word is not for the many, because many are called but few are chosen. And those who are chosen often do not look like what the world expects. They are not always the strongest, not always the loudest, not always the ones dressed in beauty or covered in wealth. Often they are the quiet ones, the faithful ones, the ones who keep their promises when no one is watching. The ones who cry in secret but rise again with courage. Do you see yourself in these words? Type I am chosen in the comments if you believe this is for you. Declare it so that heaven sees your faith and others may be encouraged by your courage. God says, I am lifting the veil. I am showing you why certain doors closed, why certain friendships fell apart, why certain friendships fell apart, why certain opportunities vanished. You thought you were being left behind, but I was protecting you. I was reserving you for something greater. I was sparing you from a counterfeit so that I could give you what was true. Some of you listening right now are still grieving losses that heaven calls deliverance. Some of you are still asking why. But God says, stop mourning what I removed. Start preparing for what I am about to release. If you understand this, write in the comments, I receive what is coming. Let your faith be known, not just to heaven, but also to this family of listeners who are walking the same journey with you. This message is for the few who are about to step into unexpected favor. Not the favor of men, but the favor of God. It will not always look glamorous. Sometimes it will look like hidden provision. Sometimes it will look like quiet strength. Sometimes it will look like peace when everyone else is restless. But that peace will mark you. That provision will sustain you. That strength will carry you. You will know that it was not your hand but His hand that made the way. Child of God, you may feel weary. You may feel overlooked. You may feel like your prayers have floated into silence. But God says, the delay was not denial. The silence was not absence. I was shaping you. I was training your spirit to trust me beyond what you could see. And now, the season of testing is shifting. The few who endured, the few who stayed faithful, the few who kept their oil burning when others gave up, these few will see the breakthrough. Comment if you have endured a long season of waiting. Tell me how long you have prayed. Tell me how many nights you have cried. Because by sharing you remind yourself that your waiting was not wasted. Your story may unlock someone else's hope. God says, I am sending clarity to the few. Where there was confusion, light will break forth. Where there were lies, truth will rise. Where there were shadows, revelation will enter. You will know my voice, not the counterfeit. You will know my direction, not the counterfeit. You will know my direction, not the distraction. My spirit will mark you, guide you, empower you. The few are not called to blend in. They are called to shine, and light does not ask permission to shine. It simply shines. That is why you have been uncomfortable trying to fit in. That is why you have been restless when you tried to be like everyone else, because you were not designed for the many. You were set apart as one of the few. If you feel this truth burning in you, comment, I will shine. Let the world know you are done hiding. Let heaven know you are ready. Beloved, hear these words as a gentle wind stirring the depths of your spirit. Let them settle over every place in you that has questioned, doubted, or despised the journey. The Lord is speaking not in grand thunder or spectacle, but in the quiet places. The tender whisper that picks up the fragments of disappointment and weaves them into purpose. Do not fear the smallness of your beginning, for even now, as you reflect on the quiet seasons, heaven smiles over the seed you have sown in faith. The world may overlook the day of small things. Others might measure progress by numbers, by applause, or by what garners attention. But the Father looks at the heart, at the secret place where faith begins its gentle rise. Remember, great stories in God's kingdom often have humble beginnings. They are not always introduced with great fanfare or crowds. Sometimes they start with a single prayer whispered in the darkness, a single act of forgiveness, a decision to keep going despite feeling unseen and uncelebrated. Do not despise the days when you feel as if little is shifting. Do not compare your journey to those running ahead on seemingly wider, easier, or faster paths. The Lord specializes in using the overlooked, the underestimated, the few. Often he will begin with a remnant, so that none can boast that victory came by their own strength. Is it not written that he chose a shepherd boy with a sling and a stone to bring down a giant? Was it not a mere 12 who carried a message that transformed the world? The way of the kingdom is different. God chooses the unlikely, qualifies the unqualified, and strengthens the feeble. He is not limited by perception. He is not threatened by smallness. In fact, he delights in it because it becomes the perfect canvas for his greatness to be seen. Every setback in your life, even those moments that screamed failure, are not wasted. The very tears you have shed are known to him. Each one has watered the ground of your destiny. Every trial and loss, every door that closed, every friend that walked away, every night you laid awake questioning, is not wasted in his hands. Heaven is moved by your faithfulness in the quiet hidden places, when you chose to believe even as hope flickered low. So now hear the Father inviting you to declare in faith, nothing in my life is wasted. Say it aloud, type it, let it rise as a banner over your heart. For when you put faith into words, heaven responds. Angels lean close to echo your agreement. Demons tremble, for they know there is power in a believer's confession. Speak it over your disappointments, your unfulfilled dreams, your current circumstances. Nothing is wasted. God collects every detail, weaving it into a story of glory. Beloved, sometimes the real evidence of being chosen is not in the open doors but in the resistance. The Father whispers to you, I am raising up a generation of warriors who do not fight with swords or anger but with love, truth, and persistent endurance. Your assignment is not to impress people or chase performance. Your assignment is to carry my presence. When you walk into a room, there is a shift, not because of anything external, but because carriers of divine fire bring light to darkness. This is why the battle has been so fierce against you. This is why you have faced more storms than some around you. The rejection, misunderstanding, and betrayal were not evidence that you missed it. They were confirmation that you are carrying something worth resisting. The accuser does not waste resources where there is no threat. Child of God, do not waste your energy envying those who seem to have the easy path, who move with crowds and carry approval wherever they go. The wide and popular road may look inviting, but it ends in emptiness. The narrow path, though lonely at times, is filled with the footsteps of saints who saw the invisible and inherited the promises. Take joy that you are among the few, the remnant God has chosen for himself. The few are those who sacrifice in secret, who forgive when they could retaliate, who pray when no one is watching, who maintain hope in the valley, who believe when evidence is absent. These are the ones who will see what eyes have not seen, hear what ears have not heard, and walk where no one else has walked. As these words touch your heart, sense the confirmation deep within. Perhaps it's a stirring, a warmth, a sense of yes, this is for me. It is the Spirit placing a gentle weight of holy affirmation on your life. Your story is not random, your assignment is not an accident. Even now, heaven is leaning near, inviting you to agree. Yes, I receive. Let this agreement become the beginning of a new testimony, evidence that God is ministering directly to you, right where you are. The ways of God are higher. He is about to move through the few, to do what the many cannot. He is sending you, beloved, into spaces where compromise, complacency, and darkness have tried to reign, into families that have been fractured, workplaces filled with oppression, cities desperate for hope, and nations losing sight of the light. The assignment is not about popularity or comfort, it is about impact, about being a vessel of divine power and truth. Sometimes obedience will require walking alone. It may mean being misunderstood. It may look like standing in the gap while others walk away. But know this, the anointing is most evident when the cost is highest. This message is not for the masses. The many are often distracted by noise, by the next trend, by what feels good. The many want blessing without the burden, resurrection without the cross. But you have borne the burden. You have stayed faithful when others let go. You have endured seasons of testing, waiting, and hiddenness. And soon, the release will come. Soon, what was a burden will become a testimony. What has weighed your heart will be exchanged for what lifts your spirit. This is the way of the remnant. To carry what others will not, to hold fast when others depart, to stand not for applause but for the sake of the one who called you. If this word resonates, take a moment to boldly share it. Confess your agreement, not just for yourself, but as a seed for those who will read and find hope. What prayer request lingers on your heart in this season? What mountain needs to be moved? Let your voice join with others. For it is written, when 2 or 3 agree on earth as touching anything, it shall be done. Do not hold your burdens in isolation, release them in the company of faith. Heaven pays attention to the prayers of agreement. Do not allow worry about the future to cloud your hope. The world may grow darker, but the light in the remnant burns ever brighter. Storms may rage, economies may shake, but those anchored in the secret place will remain unshaken. The voice of confusion and deception may increase around, but the voice of the Spirit within will become clearer with each step of obedience. God is not abandoning those he loves. If it feels silent, it is only the pause before profound movement. The smallness of your beginning is not a prophecy of insignificance. It is evidence that something precious and eternal is in the works. Take courage, dear one. Hold your head high even if the crowd passes you by. Strengthen your feeble knees and steady your heart. Your place is not among the restless many, but among the faithful few. It is the few who become witnesses to the glory of God in the land of the living. The few who know not only the miracles but the giver. The few who carry stories of transformation, healing, and divine intervention, not because everything was easy, but because God was present in everything. Let your testimony rise from this place, a declaration that your life, even in its smallest, most hidden seasons, is a stage for God's faithfulness. Where others see defeat, God sees preparation. Where others see limitation, God sees potential. The world needs the radiance of your journey, the fire of your conviction, and the breaking of your silence. Every word you share, every step you take, Every act of kindness and every sacrifice in secret becomes a part of heaven's history. Beloved, do not think lightly of your warfare. Spiritual battles are rarely seen by man, but all heaven marks your perseverance. That persistent hope, that silent prayer, that quiet worship when you felt alone. These are precious to God. You are being shaped not merely for your own story, but for others yet to come. Your victory will become the pattern for others searching for hope. Your breakthrough will be the door through which many walk. So, who are the few? They are those with tired hands from serving and hearts that have learned to trust in the shadows. They are misunderstood, but they do not waver. They are pressed but not crushed, perplexed but not in despair, persecuted but never abandoned. Their stories are marked not by the absence of struggle but by miraculous endurance. They become spiritual pioneers, opening pathways where there were none, believing for things not yet seen, enduring for rewards that do not fade. You are counted among, believing for reward them. Even if you have doubted, even if you have been weary, if you still have a little faith, enough to whisper, "Yes, Lord, you are chosen." Do not measure your effectiveness by visible fruit alone. Seeds sprout in hiddenness. Roots grow deep where no one sees. Fruitfulness begins when the dry ground is broken open by hope. God smiles at your persistence and rejoices over your honesty. Dare to leave a mark today by declaring boldly, "This message is mine." Believe that you are not just a number lost in the crowd. You are known, seen, individually called and equipped by name. Your uniqueness is not an accident. Your story, every detail, is part of the tapestry God is weaving across generations. As you share your testimony, your words may become the very seed that unlocks someone else's hope, someone else's faith. God uses the few not merely to comfort each other, but to send ripples throughout the world. Heaven is always attentive to the sacrifice of the few. Prayer in secret, the fasting when no one notices, the quiet intercession, the covering over of another's shame, the choice to bless instead of curse, the patience in affliction. All these have eternal significance. The rewards the Father gives are not for the impressive but for the faithful. You need not fear being overlooked by man when you are intimately known by God. Let hope arise. Let your prayer rise as incense before the Father. Cast every fear, every anxiety, every question about timing or ability into His arms. For it is His strength, not yours, that sustains the journey. He never called the few because of their perfection, but because of their hunger. He never chose them because they never struggled, but because they kept saying, "Yes," in the face of struggle. You are not one of the many. You are one of the few, and the few have always been the carriers of revival, the birthers of miracles and the keepers of the fire. This is the time for you too. Lean in, press closer, listen deeply. The assignment is weighty, but the reward is matchless. The joy found in the hidden place cannot be stolen by circumstances. God is preparing you for something that cannot be measured by the world. Lift your eyes and see, what is coming is worth every hard-fought battle, every season of waiting, every cost that was paid in secret. So take heart, precious one. Let your spirit awaken to hope again. Keep moving, keep believing, keep declaring truth over your life and the lives of others. There may be moments when you feel alone, but know that thousands of others are walking the same narrow path alongside you. Heaven calls you family, calls you faithful, calls you chosen. What God is building in you is greater than what you have lost. What He is preparing in the hidden place will soon be revealed in the open. Your testimony, your worship, your unshakable hope, even when the evidence was against you, these are the treasures you carry into eternity. Do not despise the day of small things. Do not measure your worth by numbers, applause, or popularity. You have been invited into the greatest story ever told. The story of redemption, restoration, and resurrection, and you are playing a part no one else can. Your voice, your agreement, your confession of faith, these shape destinies, move mountains and invite heaven to invade earth. Embrace your assignment. Let every word you speak, every prayer you offer, every act of love become part of the offering you lay at his feet. The days ahead may test your resolve, but they will also reveal the strength God has placed inside you. The few are being prepared, the few are being sent. The few will see the glory of the Lord in the land of the living. So rise, beloved, let your life bear witness, share your testimony, encourage the weary, declare boldly, this message is mine. And as you do, watch as heaven responds and the impossible becomes reality, because God always begins with the few.